Okay, it's going. I have my new toy. I got my little tripod to stick my thingy in a tree, and I've got a little remote, so I don't have to like get up and give you those big gross zooming face shots anymore. So, hanging. I'm choosing a tree, but there's totally other ways you can do it. You can do this in your house against a doorway, something like that. We're just gonna start with the easiest way, and that's just grabbing onto something kind of shoulder height. And I'm totally standing on the ground, and I'm just gonna step my feet a little closer to the thing and lean out away from it. And it's already work. I'm trying to, you can work a little harder by kind of holding yourself in sort of a plank-like position so that you're not just slopping out here. But you can also kind of go in and out of that sloppiness, so you can kind of let yourself drift away, bring yourself back, so I'm just letting my pelvis drift away and then bringing myself back. You can kind of see that if I go lower here. So if I'm holding onto the tree and I just let myself drift away, and then I pull myself back and let myself drift away, and then pull myself back. My hand and my arm is getting tired already. So that's one arm. We'll do the other arm too. Just gonna turn, and you can grab, again, if this can be anywhere, this could be a door jamb in your house. Just hanging on, kind of standing at an angle, let myself drift away a little bit, and then pull myself back. And let myself drift away a little bit, and pull myself back. Away, and back. And you could do this at a couple different angles. You could have your arm a little bit higher up, a little bit lower down, whatever. I'm gonna move that up a little so you can see my hands. Okay. So once you've done a couple little one arm, just seeing how far you can support yourself. And again, you can just do this entire routine standing on the ground. If you have a tree that's low enough, it's great, it's fun, it's outside. But also you could do this still on a door jamb or walking down a hallway, you know, or if you have a little archway or something in your house. So I'm gonna put both my hands up here, and I've got my palms facing the camera. So we're gonna do a couple different positions with the arms. So here I'm not at all giving all of my weight to my arms. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna squat, but what I'm gonna try to do is keep this same amount of space right here. So as I go down, I'm bending my knees lower and lower and lower, and my shoulders and arms are having to work harder and harder because I'm trying to keep the same amount of space here between my ear and my shoulder. If I just let go and bend as deep as I can and just release, you'll see that space disappear. And so that's not the way we're gonna try to just dangle. We're just gonna try to be really stable in the shoulders while we lower some of our weight into our arms. So all I'm doing with my knees is bending them. I'm just squatting down, squatting down, squatting down, trying to keep the same amount of space. And it's work. It's work for my hands, it's work for my arms. I've got this varied arm position here because one part of the branch is higher than the other part of the branch. But that's great, right? Because it's more natural that way, right? As if I were climbing up something. We're gonna try the other way. So now my palms are facing me, and I put my arms up here. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna try to keep that space between my ears and my shoulders, and I'm gonna let my arms straighten and bend my knees. So I'm getting lower and lower and lower. Now, if you can go down here and you can take your feet all the way off the ground, right? Without this happening, then you're actually using some of those arm muscles to support your whole body. You'll find if you play around with this that you don't need to do it for very long before you feel work. And for most people, our hands give out first, right? And that's what stops us. And we should let it stop us rather than going and putting on gloves and hanging longer than our shoulders are used to hanging. listen to your hands. Okay. So we've got the forward hang, the backward hang, and then another way to do it that I love, that's really and starts to involve your core a little bit more, is to have the hands opposite to each other. So I've got this palm facing that way and this palm facing that way, and I'm going to hold the branch in between like this. So I'm going to turn my side to the camera, and I'm putting one palm facing one way, the other facing the other way. And then I'm still going to try not to have that space disappear too much as I lower down. And if I were to just let all my weight go here and go, take my feet off the ground, I'm not spinning like this on purpose. It would just turn me. And I would have to use my core strength to turn myself back to facing the way I was facing. And then I'm just going to come up, and then I'll switch and do the other way. So I'll put the other hand in front, and I'll lower down. And once I get down to a certain point, I can feel that my body wants to just turn, and I'm going to try not to let this happen, and I'm going to turn myself back and then come back up. So it's just a few different ways to work on your upper body strength. When you're outside, when you're in the house, in a doorway, if you have one of those little pull-up bar things across your doorway, some of you do, it's just a nice little 5 minutes, and I'll probably feel that later just because I haven't done that for quite a while. So there you go, a little quick hang. Once you get so that you really can hang there without dropping into the shoulders, you can play around with coming up and down. And I do think, for me, it's harder to do this out here with my arms in two different positions because of the branch, with my hands on a tree rather than like a little padded bar, that I have inside. But you can play with dropping down and pulling back up. And I'm not using my legs here. They're off the ground right now. Dropping down and pulling back up. Ooh. And it's a lot of work. For me. And then what's the other one? Swinging. Once you can hang and you can kind of move in and out of that shoulder shrug thing, you could also play around with actually hanging here, getting your feet off the ground, or you can do it like right now. I have the tips of my toes on, but I'm still adding a lot of work just by kind of swinging myself forward and back. Ooh, and it's a really great stretch for me too, through my armpits. And afterwards, you could do a couple of those shoulder rotations, all the way in, all the way out, that we did in earlier videos, all the way in, all the way out. As you go out, you're dropping your chin down. And it's just a great chest opener, shoulder mobilizer, strengthener. Get your breath going a little bit. Give it a try. Hope you like it. Happy spring.